What's up, everyone? It's Tim J here to give my predictions for UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Dillashaw. I did my research for this card a little while ago, so the thoughts aren't as fresh in my head, but I've had a good look at all the fighters and pretty confident on my picks and my bets for this card. So, yeah, let's get into it. First fight of the card, Diana Belbita versus Hannah Goldie. So this is very much a bottom of the barrel UFC women's 115 division fight. Look, I think Hannah Goldie is the better striker and has a little bit more power, but she's quite low volume, and I think this fight, I think Belbita's gonna have the reach advantage. It's gonna be a little bit taller. I think it's gonna be mostly a stand up fight. It's gonna be fairly even in terms of who's landing the better strikes. So I'm gonna take Belbita to win. She's the $2.20 underdog, and I'm gonna bet her. But yeah, look, she hasn't shown a really great skill set throughout her career, but I think she's worth a bet here. So I'm taking Belbita to win. Next fight, we have Sijara Eubanks versus Elise Reed. Elise Reed, she's a decent fighter. I think she's got a good future in the UFC. I think against Eubanks, I think her problem is basically going to be the wrestling. I think Eubanks is the bigger, more physical fighter, and he's better at wrestling and better on the ground. And Elise Reed, she looked good in her previous fights, but she was taken down a little bit too easily for my liking. So I'm going to take Sijara Eubanks to win, and I think she'll win by unanimous decision. Eubanks is a heavy favourite, so not worth betting the fight, but I think she'll win. Next fight, we have Julio Arce versus Andre Ewell. Andre Ewell started out as a $2.50 underdog. I'm not sure why he's such a heavy underdog. I know that he's struggled against fighters that can take him down and steal rounds from him in that way. And he struggled a bit in his last fight against Chris Gutierrez with the leg kicks. But Julio Arce hasn't been someone who really throws leg kicks at all. I think Arce's got the more power, and I think he's the one. I think Arce is live for a knockout, but because this is a 3-round fight, I think Ewell is going to come in, he's going to jab, stay on the outside, try and implement his game, and I think it's going to be a really close fight. I think it's going to go to the judges' scorecards for a decision, and I think Andre Ewell is going to win a unanimous decision, 29-28. So I'm betting him as well. I think it's a good bet because I think the fight's going to be close. So I'm taking Andre Ewell there. Adrian Yanez versus Randy Costa. Yeah, this is going to be one of the best fights of the card. Just both guys have, big power in their striking. I think, look, Randy Costa, he's live to knock anyone out. But I think in terms of technique, I think he's still a little bit green. And I think someone who has really great boxing like Adrian Yanez, I think he's going to be able to take advantage of the kind of the defensive weaknesses that Randy Costa has, and I'm going to take him to win by knockout, second round. And Yanez opened up as a $1.50 favourite. Got to lay the chalk if you want him to win, but I'm going to have a bet on him here as well. So I'm taking him. Ian Heinisch versus Nasidim Imavov. Another really great fight. I think it's mostly going to be a stand-up battle. I think there'll be some clinching and maybe a takedown here or there, but I don't think either of these guys are going to be able to ground the other for significant periods of the fight. So I think it's mostly going to be a stand-up battle. Imavov, he's got really good, quick, crisp punches and throws in combinations. He basically, in his last fight against Hawes, he was winning the fight every time it was on its feet, and I saw a lot of improvements in the, even though he got taken down a fair bit against Hawes, I saw some improvements in his striking from his previous fight. I think Ian Heinisch, he's a really good fighter, really well rounded, but I just think he's kind of on a downward trajectory in terms of his career, and I think Mavov's on an upward trajectory. So I'm gonna pick Mavov. I'm gonna bet Mavov. I think he's a great underdog pick, and that's gonna be my first best bet of the card. Next fight we have Punahele Soriano versus Brendan Allen. Clearly a clash of styles. Brendan Allen is the grappler. Soriano is the striker. I think if this fight becomes a scramble fest, I think Brendan Allen will absolutely dominate Soriano on the ground. But I haven't seen the kind of, the blast double, really strong wrestling game from Brendan Allen to be confident that he's going to be able to get Soriano down on the ground reliably. And Soriano comes from a wrestling background, and you see it in his fights. As soon as people go to clinch with him, he's got his hips right back, and clearly conscious of not getting into that type of scrambly fight. So, yeah, I think he's got this striking advantage. I think Brendan Allen, his striking still pretty basic. Holds his head up pretty high and doesn't move it much. And I think Soriano, as long as the fight stays on the feet, I think Soriano is live for the knockout. I think if it goes to a decision, I think Soriano can still win a decision. He's got a tendency to slow down a bit, but he did mention in his fighter interviews that he was suffering some health issues. He said he's got them sorted out now. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm going to take him to win, and I'm betting him as well. Next fight, we have Mickey Gall versus Jordan Williams. To be completely honest, I only looked at the last fight for both of these guys, and I've never really been sold on Mickey Gall in the UFC. I think he just came in. He was too green. Got that win over CM Punk. We knew from the start that CM Punk was never UFC caliber. So he's had to kind of grow up in the UFC. Mickey Gall has, and he's clearly shown to be a tough guy. But that Diego Sanchez loss where he gassed out and got TKO'd, that just looks really bad. And Jordan Williams, even though he's he's the diabetic, which clearly something that is a really challenging health issue to deal with as a fighter. Jordan Williams is tough, and he throws power and throws in combinations. So I think he'll be good enough to outstrike Mickey Gall, and I'm going to take Jordan Williams to win by a second round knockout. But he's a heavy favourite. Might put him in a parlay, but I'm not sure. But I think he's definitely the side to be on here. Macy Barber versus Miranda Maverick. Yeah, look, I've been pretty torn on this fight. I think Miranda Maverick has the highest ceiling. I think, she's still really young in her career, and she's a really smart girl. Clearly is learning her craft really quickly, considering the amount of fights that she's had. Whereas Macy Barber, I think she burst onto the scene. She had some good wins because of her power, but uh, I'm not I'm not seeing the technical progression from her that I would have liked. But she did pretty well in her last fight against Grasso. Just was a bit outclassed on the feet, but she came back in that third round and really pushed the pace and clearly won that third round. So I think she's live. I think she's live for the win here. I think Miranda Maverick's strength at this point is her strength, and that clearly against Gillian Robertson, she got taken down, and Robertson was more technical on the ground and was able to control her in certain positions. But Maverick's just really strong and had a great base and couldn't really be put into a really threatening position because of how strong her base is. So uh, th- that's what I see as her greatest strength, and I'm not sure if she's going to be able to just muscle around Macy Barber because I think that's one of Barber's strengths as well. So yeah, I'm pretty split on the fight. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take Macy Barber to win. I think it's gonna be close. Judges' scorecards. I'm gonna take her by split decision. Not sure at this point if I have Barber in a parlay from previous cards. So if that wins, if that cashes, that'll be good return on the parlay there. But yeah, not sure if I'm going to put any extra money on her. So I'm taking Barber to win. Next fight of the card: Darren Elkins versus Derek Minner. I'm The interesting thing about Derek Minner is he's similar to what's that light heavyweight's name that I bet on recently? Who won? It's gonna drive me crazy, so I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, so I'm back. I was thinking of Marcin Prachnio. So how does Marcin Prachnio relate to Derek Minner? Well, both of them went through an incredible transformation in their styles in their last fights. So Derek Minner against Charles Rosa, we all thought that he was going to be basically first round or bust because that's what he'd been throughout his career. He just came out super aggressive, would try and lock up any type of submission, mostly choke top submissions, guillotines and whatnot. And if he didn't get them, he'd basically quit and would be live to be submitted himself. So we thought that's what was going to happen against Charles Rosa, but he moved camps and now he's being trained by James Krause. And Krause came out and had a really great game plan for him. He kind of changed his style, so it's more measured. He uses his wrestling. He kind of works to get top position and then holds them rather than just putting everything into trying to get the submission. So he dominated Rosa last fight, and look, I'm not that sold on Charles Rosa to be honest. So I was surprised that Minna opened up. Well, he opened up as the underdog, and then a huge amount of money came in on him. But I'm surprised that he's a $1.60 favourite here. If Darren Elkins wasn't at the end of his career, I would be willing to bet Darren Elkins. But just at his age, it's just so hard to do it. But I'm gonna pick Darren Elkins to win this fight. I'm not gonna bet it, but yeah, I think he's going to be good enough to not be wrestle fucked by Derek Minner for 3 rounds. And I think if the fight stays standing, it's going to be pretty even. And yeah, I think it's going to go to a decision. And I think Darren Elkins is live. So not that confident in the pick, but I'm going to take Darren Elkins. Co-main event, we have Aspen Ladd versus Macy Chiasson. Haven't seen Aspen Ladd in a while. She's coming off an injury, but when you look at her social media, she looks in great shape. Been training with some good girls, including Miranda Maverick. I think look, my opinion when it comes to women's MMA is that if one of the fighters has got a clear physical advantage, then I'm generally going to take them. And I think Aspen Ladd is, I think she's going to be the more physical fighter. And I think Macy Chiasson, with her height, is very, she's susceptible to be taken down with like a body lock takedown. And that's Aspen Ladd's kind of go-to move when it comes to takedowns. So I think the striking is going to be pretty even, but I think the difference is going to be Aspen Ladd's basically her body lock takedowns, and I think she's gonna get some good control time, gonna allow some decent ground and pound, and I'm gonna take Aspen Ladd to win by, I'm gonna say, unanimous decision. I think Macy Chiasson's tough, so I think she'll hang in there, and I'm gonna bet Aspen Ladd as well. Yeah, $1.60 when I got her. That's, yeah, not the best price, but I think she's worth a bet. So betting Aspen Ladd. And we come to the main event of the evening: Cory Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw. Really, really good matchup. It's going to be a high level striking fight. I think Sandhagen, I think he's clearly, I think he's going to have the advantage in the striking because of his reach and his height. And I think the time away from the sport is going to hurt Dillashaw. I don't think Dillashaw's done. I think he's still going to come back and have some great wins, but I think this is just a really bad matchup for him. If it was a 3-round fight, I think Dillashaw would be live. I think he could mix in his grappling and potentially steal rounds that way. But because it's a 5-round fight, we're basically going to see who's the better striker. And I think Cory Sandhagen is going to be able to use his length and his range to dictate the striking and where the striking takes place in a fight. So I'm taking Sandhagen to win. I think it'll be a fairly tactical battle, so I think it'll go to decision. And yeah, I think Cory Sandhagen will win by unanimous decision. He opened up, he's about a $1.60 favourite as well. I'm betting Sandhagen, and he's my other best bet of the card. All right, everyone, that's it. Nice short and sharp video. Hope everyone's been enjoying the UFC. Haven't had the best run on my bets and picks recently, but feeling pretty good about this card. Anyway, peace. See you next time.